I'm Dan.
And I'm Austin.
And we are here to play games.
In finale ways.
Yeah, welcome to the finale of Xenosaga, Episode 1, Der Wille Zermacht. We are here in Proto Merkabah, and we're pretty much ready to start up the final boss fight. I do have a pretty good setup with my party at the moment. I did kind of go over this before we started a little bit, made sure accessories aren't overlapping with skills, and we're set up to basically just wreck face on the in-game bosses here.
Right.
A couple of things to cover before we do that. One is I have managed to get Chaos's ultimate weapon. It's only like 7 more attack power than the work gloves, but worth going and grabbing. It is from the enemies I think we discussed last time. They're in Proto Merkabah, not the ones right up the elevator, but a little bit further up.
I
Delphine?
didn't think. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
They're spelled Holey, Holey. So like they're gloves full of holes.
Yes. Yeah, look at the worn out gloves with holes.
Oh my God. So this whole time you've been talking about them being called holy gloves, I thought it meant like to lean into like his angelic stuff that he does.
Yep.
Negative, Sky Captain.
Negative indeed.
All right, well. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. The holy gloves. So you have to Dark Scepter the Delphine enemy, which we've seen quite a few of them. They're just kind of running around in earlier sections of Proto Merkabah. That's how you get his ultimate weapon. We have the best weapons for everybody else. Momo has her Dragon Rod, although personally I really like the Saint Rod, Penguin Rod, and the W Hammer. I thought that the hammer is pretty cool. I'm a big fan of that one. But I do have a party of Kos-mos Jr. at the moment. Thematically and just power-wise, it makes the most sense to me.
Sure.
So the other thing I want to clear up is it is possible to leave the final dungeon at this point. You do have to jump down to fight Protodora, and you cannot go back up that way. But what you can do is you can go up this elevator here, and I'm not going to do it right now because I think we're just going to go ahead and roll into the final boss here. But you go up this elevator, and then basically you end up back in a room, and then you have to go around, and you're going to end up back on the 44th floor if you go in the right door from the room full of the demon enemies.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a bunch of construction enemies. Like, basically, it's a huge pain to get out, but trust me, you can leave the final dungeon. You can go back to the earlier sections to get the holy gloves. If you need to go back to the EVS plate, you can retreat back to the Elsa. You can leave. You can go to the dock colony. You can do whatever you want. Just as long as you haven't started the next couple of fights that we are about to start, you can leave Proto Merkabah if you want to.
It's whatever. You can do whatever.
You are radically free. You can do whatever you want. Just to go over some of the setup of my characters before we go in, I am using the Neo Armor Beta on Xion. Technically, I could use the Tektron clothes, but I kind of like the E defense +4. It's kind of nice. She's running speed shoes and the scope, just because I like the scope. I don't really need HP numbers, but it's fine. Kos-mos, F-Scythe, her best armor, the Double Buster, and Commander's Crest. And Junior is running the Blood 9, Shield Armor, Boost Pack, and the White Ring for 1 more agility. That does make him the fastest member of the party. However, Xion is running All Guard, AP +1, and EP half. And then Kos-mos, Speed +25, Battle BC +1. That's her boost count, starts at 1 at the beginning of the fight, of any fight. And All Guard from the Shield Armor. And then Junior is W Special for double tech attacks, Speed +25, and AP +1.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we're pretty much armed to the teeth here. We are in very good shape for this. And yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and head in. Do you have any comments, Austin, before we get this started?
Nope.
Okay. So we're going to head to the west. And
well, okay, I do have one comment, but it's be while you're running. That's fine.
Cool.
This upcoming boss, we were discussing before we started on whether or not we should giant robot this upcoming boss. And we have decided to giant robot the boss.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted to see the fight in its fullness, check a different video, I guess. but we feel like this boss deserves to have a giant robot dropped on his head. So, oh hey, what's up, man?
Oh, hello. Yeah, we had a couple of enemies to fight at this point, but we'll crunch them real quick. Yeah, I mean, fully agree on that one. It is down to the, yeah, okay, we're good. So with regards to the next boss, stack agility +1 and speed +25% on everyone you can if you want to fight it without using Erdekaiser. You can do it. They're just very fast, and you probably know who it is at this point, but basically you just need a lot of speed to deal with it. But yeah, that is our plan. We are just gonna blast them away with Erdekaiser because went through the trouble of getting it, and the boss is so fast as to be a little annoying, so we're just gonna crunch him.
Yeah, well, that boss is annoying anyway.
Yep.
Even without him being a boss.
Yep.
So.
Ow.
Ow. We're quick and hit, boy.
Get rid of him.
Ah.
Yeah, I don't remember how many of these enemies we have to fight to get down to the bottom, but we have enough med pack S's and ether packs to where it does not matter. I don't think we're gonna get an extra level before we get to the bottom, but we will get one before we get to the final boss. So the end of this game is a mini boss rush of 2 bosses in a row. So, oh hey, there's a little guy.
This is a unique little guy. I like how she's just like staring into the abyss and then it appears.
Like, what could this be?
Your orders, Xion?
Is this a Gnosis?
It's a Gnosis. Barakajal.
Take this. Angelic Requiem.
Love the hit-alls. What isn't a Gnosis in this first game?
I would say Virgil, but that's not really arguably true anymore. Realians?
Virgil. Yeah, I mean, there's...
Plus humans become Gnosis, so technically...
There's technically machine, biological, and Gnosis, but so many enemies in this game are G-type Gnosis, so... Oh, you might notice I am hitting extremely hard with X-Buster. I have leveled it up to level 9 because Kos-mos has such good stat growth that her tech points are not often used on her stats, so I've just started putting stuff into X-Buster, just because I like it.
It is a cool ability.
Yeah, and it's pretty strong. I don't know what my favorite hit all is, but X-Buster it might be it. I do quite like Storm Waltz, but I think Angelic Requiem is slightly stronger, which is why I'm using it. Rainblade's pretty cool, though.
I think our hammer might be my favorite.
It's not a hit all, but it is a cool tech attack. Not with that attitude, yeah.
Yeah, right. I flurry of blows.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Keep blasting.
Requiem is good.
What's
I
that?
think I like Storm Waltz a little more than Angelic Requiem as far as visual.
Yeah, I agree.
Charging.
But I also think Storm Waltz takes up less time, which might be why I like it a little bit more.
That's certainly true. It is a little bit faster.
Yeah. Plus all the ricochet shots are cool.
Definitely agree. Oh, thanks for the heal.
Rockajaw? What a weird creature.
Last symphony.
Definitely.
Soul Siphon.
Last Symphony.
All right, let's call it a day.
I need more Great Joe.
I mean, we could always summon Great Joe a bit.
That's true.
Got
Just the whole, like, oh!
one more. Are we good? Eh?
Probably one more. She's still looking up.
Eh? Why are there more?
They're unique ones each time, too.
I don't want to fight more. The first.
These ones are interesting to me because they have a very, like, nature-oriented aesthetic to them.
That's certainly true.
And I find that interesting because none of the other Gnosis have had that, like, peaceful grove inspiration, I guess. I don't know what else to call it, but...
Peaceful Grove.
I mean, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like, it's got...
Hades, ow.
Because it's got, like, you know, like, that's got a tree kind of coming out, so it makes me think like a forest or like a small park or something.
Sure.
And the lighter colors and the, like, the halo symbolism that seems to be around them all. It's just implied to be like this celestial space. Paradise-ish.
Yeah, I could see that. Just got like tree branches growing out of his tail.
Yeah, sacred maybe might be the right way to put that.
Sacred.
Yeah.
Keep blasting, Junior.
No, his name is Danny DeVito, remember?
True. I do kind of like alternating, like putting Prelude to Battle and Last Symphony because they're very similar. But I'm doubling up Last Symphony because it does a little more damage than Prelude to Battle. That's an interesting...
I don't know if we talked about this in depth, but I was looking up Merkabah again because I was curious more about the, like, etymology.
Yep.
Okay. I get them confused a lot, so apologies if I did it. But etymology. And the characters, the Hebrew letters that make up Merkabah are literally the words light, spirit, and, like, personal soul or personality.
Sure.
Which I find really interesting. Because it is the word for chariot, talking about, like, God's chariot.
Chariot of
the
God.
fact that but those letters specifically meaning light, spirit, and the soul, I think are very fitting as well, given what's going on here in this space.
Sure, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's interesting how, with regards to etymology, things get put together in a way that is not always obvious.
Right.
And forward. Yeah. Merkabah was used a little bit. Man, there are a lot of enemies on the way down. Was used a little bit in Xenogears as well. At least in at least one track name. But if you played any Megaton games, you will recognize Merkabah from them. Specifically, Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse.
Oh, okay.
Used very differently, but yeah. Question, of course, might be, like, what does God mean in the context of this game?
Well, yeah, sure. And they haven't really talked about God in the same way that they did in Xenogears.
That's true.
So, it would be interesting.
Charging.
A lot of times I find that JRPGs will fall into the story of the protagonist defeats God. It's not always the story, but there's a lot of them out there where you're basically fighting God. 16 is that kind of story, Final Fantasy 16. I would argue Final Fantasy 9 has that theme as well.
Sure.
I think 6 does it, right? Like, it just goes on and on. Even Skies of Arcadia, you're fighting what is essentially being proclaimed as a god at that point. So, I don't know. I am inclined to think that in the end, it doesn't even matter. But in the end, I am inclined to believe that what's being explored there is humans as God, redefining what it means to be God, right?
Sure.
Versus like just some supernatural entity. But I don't know. Let us know in the comments what you think. What is God in the Xenosaga per episode 1? And if you have other knowledge from 2 and 3, then minimize its influence, I guess. I don't know. That's hard to do, but
The enemies have been exterminated.
Yeah, there's certainly a level of transcendence that comes with dealing with something like the Zohar, right?
right. And that's kind of where the deific imagery is happening, is with the Zohar and what it can do.
Hey, we made
and
it.
Udu, obviously, by extension.
Udu, indeed.
Because there's a lot of Kos-mos kind of developing human traits, but not really, not in the same way that we're used to experiencing it. But there's definitely some changes going on with her. It's just not super obvious right now, aside from like a couple of moments. And then of course there's Shion. She's already experiencing some form of transcendence, because as a human, she's not turning into a Gnosis, even though she experienced the same thing Cherenkov did.
That's true.
So there's something more there. And then the URTVs are meant to fight Udu, which is itself a god of sorts in the story. So like, I don't know. That was the long way to really answer. I have no idea what
Yep.
God is in the story.
That's a fair answer given the content in this game, that's for sure.
Maybe big guns are God in this story.
Also a fair answer. Oh,
There's so many of them.
there are dudes everywhere.
They sure are.
I don't want to fight more Gnosis. Get out of my way. You fools.
Oh, you know what else they make me think of?
What?
Specifically the Tree of Yggdrasil a little bit. I don't know why that's what comes to mind, but
The Tree of Yggdrasil.
yeah.
Huh. The Tree of Life.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's some intentionality there, but, typically with the Xeno stuff, if it's a tree that we've been talking about, it's been the Sephiroth. Although there was the Yggdrasil ship, so...
True.
Yeah, it fits.
The Sand Cruiser.
With his Bart missiles.
That's right.
Oh my gosh, Bart.
Oh, Bart.
Oh, he was such a great character.
Go, 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 guys. Our heroes are going.
Bart Light.
The gang's all here.
Cowabunga.
You're late. I was about to give up on you, Rubido. Take a
Get
look.
out of here.
This thing has a full belly already. Well then, what shall we do now? Shall we continue where we left off?
Sure, why not?
I'll tell you what you
What
can
is
do.
that?
You
Are
can get crushed by my giant
how are
robot.
you doing that?
Don't be so surprised. This is the power of will, a fundamental power that exists within everyone. What you are witnessing is simply your perception of it. And you know what? Perception and pain are but one and the same. So, go ahead. Feel my pain for yourself.
No, sir, you're gonna feel my pain.
They say some really out-of-pocket stuff in this game.
Mm-hmm. Ow.
Perception and pain are one and the same. It's such a broad statement.
Yes, it is. Here. You have one of these. Alright, this is what you deserve.
Crush him. Crush him. A
Get-
giant invincible robot.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Let me just throw a 150-ton machine. Actually, that's probably still not heavy enough, but regardless.
So, yeah, as you've seen, Albedo went first, despite the fact that I was boosting Junior's speed and agility. Junior went after Albedo. He is insanely fast, and he's got just annoying attacks and stuff. But he has 7,400 HP, so the giant robot is just going to get rid of him.
Who is that?
I don't know. Somebody. Someone important.
Just like I know it doesn't really matter, but it's so it's so separate from everything else in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Suck it.
You're
You've been a problem
done.
for far too long.
You're done.
Get crushed, son.
Yeah, we get a good bit of XP, a decent amount of points for this fight, so.
You know, we talked about you not getting to level 50 by the end of this game, but you were awful close.
Yep, pretty close. You can go grind it out if you would like, but to my mind, Chaos's level 50 tech is just not worth it.
Sure.
Answer me. Why are you doing this? There's absolutely nothing you can hope to gain out of this.
Au contraire. I am doing all this for your sake, Rubido.
For my sake?
Have you forgotten, Rubido? That fateful day 14 years ago? Have you forgotten what you did to us? It's all because of you. Because you closed yourself off from us. Our mental link was broken, and one after another, we succumbed to the power of the song. Left
Oh.
behind in that horror. Did we have any choice but to submit to it? Remember what happened, and repent for your sin!
It's true, I mean,
So you finally admit to it, you coward!
all right. Damn it. I couldn't control my fear. Junior.
Yes, and therefore you must atone for your sins. Atone with your life. I am the executor for all those who were destroyed. Although, I'm actually grateful to you, Rubido. Thanks to you, I alone was able to find the way to a whole new world.
What do you mean, a whole new world?
That's all that I seek. It's quite simple. Don't you think?
What the hell are you talking about?
At first, I wasn't sure if I should believe, but I experienced something a moment ago that confirmed it. And this ought to verify that experience for me. Entertain me if you will.
What's he doing?
Man, I don't know. Nothing good.
It's fine.
It's Mother Brain.
You fused the Gnosis with the reactor?
That's a problem.
You must first destroy this in order to stop Proto Merkabah. You do realize that... Oh, almost forgot the time. Not much left now. I'd say 5 minutes at best.
Yeah,
I
right.
wonder how far you'll get in your current condition.
So cool. He's tormenting Junior just for fun.
Farewell. I'm sure we'll meet again if you survive. Rubido, my other half.
Albedo!
Junior, look out!
Big old guy.
Destroy this thing first.
Right. This takes priority.
Be careful,
It'll buff
everyone.
out.
That's no longer just a machine.
All right. Let's do it, Kos-mos. Affirmative. Switching to maximum output for all combat systems.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
If only that actually had bearing on the fight.
Finally, a different battle theme.
Turning back. Let's do it.
Okay, so even with the scope, we cannot see this thing's HP, but it does have 16,000. Let's see. I'm gonna do Psycho Arm.
I like this music.
It's pretty cool. I just sort of wish they had boss themes before this, but that's all right. Better late than never.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and knock off a chunk, shall we?
I'm just going to say that because of who I am as a person, it took everything in me not to start being like, a whole new world. A new fantastic point of view. In the middle of that cutscene. Especially because they said it twice, which is just like,
Sure.
don't say it, don't say it, don't say it, don't say it, don't
That's
say
what
it.
he wants. He gets on a magic carpet and flies off.
Don't you dare close your eyes.
Oh my god. This is pretty nice to have 60 EP, 60 plus EP, and halved costs. So you could just take out Albedo and then take out over half of the final boss's HP.
Sure, yeah.
There we go, 6,001, and then it's summoned a Jadabath, so we are gonna get rid of that. So I'm just gonna do some hit-alls here.
You know, this feels a little bit like fighting Sin in Final Fantasy X.
A little bit.
Not that I'm trying to compare like all these games, I just can't help myself. I like similarities.
Angelic Requiem goes between lines. Okay. I wonder if... Let's just get rid of this thing. She just hopped up.
Ooh, Jadabaoth and Ratatosk's.
Yep. Yeah, so Sophie Peithos is not difficult compared to Albedo. You probably will not have problems dealing with this boss if you're able to deal with Albedo. See how much this does. Oh yeah, we're good.
Yeah. To be fair though, it seems like if you let your guard down, this boss can really wreck you.
Yep.
Even if you're not careful.
Yep.
It's because the Peithos have that self-destruct feature and all the other shenanigans.
Right, so if you leave Peithos alone long enough, they will explode on you and do, quite a lot of damage. Okay, now...
Chunk. But you being nearly level 50, this will not be a problem.
Yeah. This boss is fine at earlier levels. You may just have to, like, keep picking off the ads and stuff like that. Oh, cool. I can FSI them now.
Sweet. He does have a particularly strong hit that he does called Dark Omen. Which hits, I think, the entire party. And for lower levels, it can deal over 700 HP, so that's the real one you gotta watch out for.
Indeed.
Yes! Great Joe. Is that Magnum Joe? Wow, that was a lot of damage.
That was Magnum Joe, yep.
Awesome. Oh, and then Buster Joe is the one where he pulls out the little... Not the little, the giant laser cannons on the back.
Exactly.
Got it. Buster's for AoE, right?
Buster is multi-target.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Demagogue.
So there's...
Ow.
I didn't know Gnosis could get fused with machine... Yes, no, that's not true. I did know that. They established that at the beginning of this game. I just forgot because they haven't shown it since. Not really.
Yeah.
That Gnosis can fuse with machinery.
Soul Crusher!
Soul Crusher!
Just the voice acting is so peak for him, specifically.
Yup.
Yeah, and speaking of voice acting, I was thinking about this while we were watching the cutscene with Albedo. Most of the voice actors in this game are really good.
Photo finish.
Albedo's is just spectacular. Like, he does such a good job.
Crispin Freeman is a tier above, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's a fantastic voice artist.
Also, that is the final boss. Obviously, it'll take longer if you don't have Erdekaiser, but not too bad if you are around 45 to 50 like I am. If you are lower, I have beaten this game at level 30. Won't be an issue.
Now we get to get this all wrapped up with a lot of confusing answers.
Yeah, there will be plenty of answers.
Explosion! We have to get out of here quickly!
What was that rumbling?
More explosions?
No. It's faint. But it feels like we're changing directions.
Xian, I have confirmation of ignition in the Proto Merkabah's propulsion units. It is descending towards 2nd Milsha now.
Oh, we can't shoot at it, so we'll just crash into it instead. Albedo, you're such a jerk.
Well then, let's just see how powerful you all are.
Kos-mos, are you sure?
Yes. Should its descent continue at present speed, it will enter the atmosphere in approximately 8 minutes.
Looks like he planned this from the very beginning.
That bastard. He's got too many tricks up his sleeve.
We have to do something. If something as large as this impacts at full speed, 2nd Milsha will be...
Based on the current angle of approach, Breaking up the facility into approximately 28,000 pieces would result in 99.6% of them vaporizing before impact.
If we detach each subcompartment, just a second. I'll search through my memory banks.
How are you going to detach that many in 8 minutes or less?
Control room. The control room on level 33 will allow us to detach the facility.
Like that?
Hurry! There's no time!
Oh no!
She did say 27,000 pieces, right?
28,000.
System startup to complete
Okay.
detachment takes 1 whole minute. That's not enough time for us to return to the Elsa.
Is this the only place we can activate it from? We can't do it remotely?
No! This system was built so that the command will only be accepted from here.
Damn. So the only way to stop this thing is to go down with it?
This can't be. There has to be another way.
There isn't! I've searched again and again, but we can only activate it from here.
Please head back now.
What, Kos-mos?
Xion, please return to the Elsa with the others. I will stay behind to initiate the detachment sequence.
Wait a second. Stay behind?
This facility will enter the atmosphere shortly. We will exceed the tolerances for maximum temperature in 3 minutes 28 seconds. Please hurry.
But
My self-preservation programming is functioning properly. I have no intention of remaining on this facility to the very end. Do not worry. At maximum speed, I can reach the Elsa in under 1 minute.
That makes
You're
sense.
sure?
Yes, this option guarantees the highest probability of success.
All right. Let's go, Xion.
but
Trust her. It'll be okay. She'll catch up.
Don't worry, guys. She can run at Mach 6.
Yup. He's very fast.
Xion?
Xion,
Her other name is Sonic.
She is blue. Just saying.
Well, clearly, that's all we need for
Better
evidence.
make it back.
Uh-huh.
You hear me? You better.
Xion, you really don't have time for this. I understand, but like,
Music time!
oh, this is an anime cutscene.
First we touched, and we hurt each other. Then we tear our hearts apart. We are too close.
Wow, that one scene looked like it at least.
Yeah, it did.
Fill my empty heart. Is this pain too
I like that the screen is conveniently blurry so you don't know what all the words are.
Uh-huh.
Can I stay?
Except danger.
Yeah, that one's important.
When this pain consumes my heart.
No, the Death Star! I mean,
What?
whoops.
Whoopsie.
Hurry! This area will soon collapse.
Kindness is something I don't want or need. The sunshine would just dissolve me into light.
This is not a criticism, but this song is a really big indicator of the era that this game was made in.
Uh-huh.
Matthews!
Master, what's all this shaking? What the hell's going on?
Proto Merkabah is about to re-enter the atmosphere. If left unchecked, it'll crash into the planet.
What?
We detached all the subcompartments, and that's what's causing the shaking. Anyway, we'll get to the details later. Prepare for immediate liftoff.
Prepare? We're not lifting off right now?
Kos-mos is still inside. We gotta wait for her.
Wait a minute. If it's already detaching, then aren't we in danger?
I'm aware of that. But if I say we wait, we wait.
He's in charge.
Kos-mos, Please. Hurry back.
Captain, up there! What?
Uh-oh. That's a problem.
Yup.
Captain, we can't stay much longer. No kidding. Little Master!
Damn it. What's taking her? Come on, come on.
Captain! Little Master!
All right. Lift off!
Captain! No! Wait! Ah!
That was close.
Captain, please go back! Kos-mos is still inside!
Are you crazy? You want to get caught in that? We're leaving now.
You can't!
Don't be afraid, Shion. Everything will be all right. See with your heart.
See with my heart.
Captain! The wall! 400 meters to the port side! Take her in close!
What?
Trust me, just hurry!
What do you mean, hurry?
Shion, port side, 400 meters, right?
Tony!
Huh? Tony!
Hey, Tony.
Tony, you got this.
You got this, Tony. Need you to blast through that hole. There you go. You're so heavy. What have you been eating? Sorry.
Ziggy strong.
Yeah. I mean, like, she's super... Okay, I feel like it was established that Kos-mos is actually quite heavy.
She is, yeah.
So... The fact that Shion was able to hold her weight at all
I
is
really ought to put you on a diet.
impressive.
There you go. Just blank stare.
Thank goodness.
We're going to have to rebuild your frame with aluminum.
Or something.
Right. How do you feel about carbon fiber?
Plastic. Cardboard.
Air?
Gotta escape the Death Star. I mean, Proto Merkabah.
Right.
There's a lot of debris.
There is. It's kind of impossible that he was able to fly through that without touching any of it.
Tony's that good.
I guess. Tony has learned the pattern of the raindrops.
That's right.
Hey guys, we like Star Wars. Here's our homage to that.
I made it!
I did. I like that all the pieces are convenient squares. All these squares make a circle.
Let's get to the bridge.
Exactly.
What was that? I can't hear you!
Like I said, the angle of approach is too steep. Well, can't you adjust it?
It's no use. The controls aren't responding.
That can't be. All control functions are in the green.
The apogee and re-entry balances were damaged by the debris. We can't adjust the logical drive angle any further than this.
You moron! Stop whining and do something about it. You want to be vaporized?
You moron.
Yup.
External hull temperature exceeding maximum limit.
What you doing,
What
Chaos?
will you do?
You're... Wait!
Relinquish your pain unto me.
Oh. Mm. That's what I'll be.
The aft hatch is open!
What? Who's the moron doing that? Is he trying to burn all of us from the inside out?
It can't be!
Oh, it can. You just rescued her, but
Kos-mos, you can't!
Xian, I will proceed to shield the Elsa with my energy field. Please stabilize the ship during that time.
Don't be ridiculous! What can you possibly accomplish by doing that?
Do not worry. Maintaining this position for 1 minute and 20 seconds will save the Elsa.
But you'll be incinerated if you do that! Stop this at once!
I am happy to be of service.
External cameras destroyed!
What was that?
that's a good question.
We haven't seen that at all, right? Like, I'm not losing my mind.
So, it's Nephilim, somebody who looked a little hauntingly familiar, and then Wilhelm.
Right. It looked kind of like Faye stacking blocks, but...
Yes.
Whoa. Blue-eyed Kos-mos.
Yup.
Okay, well that's super cool.
Uh-huh.
Our guardian angel.
How'd she do that?
Something takes over her. Clearly not Nephilim, but...
Made it.
Maybe her real name is Seraphim.
Are we okay?
Don't talk, you moron.
Huh? Hey! Miss Vector!
Huh?
Activate the secondary bow camera.
Roger.
Nice.
Made it.
Kos-mos.
Kos-mos!
Oh, she lost her helmet.
Yep, her forehead protector thing got destroyed. That's about it.
Her Hilbert effect thingy.
Finally made it to second Miltia. Xenosaga Episode 1, The Journey to Second Miltia.
well, that was the prologue, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial.
Yeah, I mean, no joke. This really is the prologue to the series. Like, more than anything else, that's what this is. Oh, hey.
I heard you speak to me. I was too shy to
Oh,
let
Mitsuda.
you know. Much too scared to let my feelings show.
I'm assuming that's Shion's brother.
That's right.
Saiton's doppelganger.
Was the beginning. Now at last we can talk in another way. And though I try, I love you.
It's a pretty song.
It's just so hard to
Oh,
Judging from
man.
the circumstances, it's clear that the UTIC organization's target is on Worthship.
only could be strong and say the words I feel.
There's a vortex of temptation and obsession that still remains. That's what continues to draw them in. And Albedo, he's being drawn in just the same.
Albedo? You mean the URTV Albedo? He's still
Nah,
alive?
not the other one.
He will not die. Not until that time arrives.
Whatever that means.
What time?
Ragnarok.
Now that was entertaining.
Alright, now that I'm in my...
All that remains is for my Pesh to link up with the UMN, and my objective will be complete.
I really feel like his collar protector is really just a harmonica. Like maybe he gets bored and he just plays his harmonica.
That makes sense.
Does he reprise his role as Albedo in future installments?
By he, do you mean Crispin Freeman?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good.
This is acceptable?
And anybody else would be
Yes,
unacceptable.
that's fine. The door that leads to Abel's Ark. He is the only one who can open it.
Abel, you say?
Abel's Ark.
There's a possibility that he may link with Udu again.
That won't happen. He doesn't have that much power.
That guy's wearing a similar outfit to the Virgil.
He is,
Of
but it's
course.
red.
We must accept the possibility that he can affect space-time anomalies to some extent. But that's what all of you are for. Still, his will shines with such wondrous light. It's a shame to relegate him to such a minor role. Don't you think?
Who were they talking about? Alan. Clearly they were talking about Alan.
Yep. They're talking about Miyuki. Shines with wondrous light.
Yeah, but they said him specifically. I mean, I guess Miyuki could identify as him. I don't know.
Kos-mos is back.
Mission complete. Shield.
Something takes over Kos-mos, and I'm not really sure what it is.
Welcome back.
Like, is it something in their programming, or is there, like, an actual entity other that, like, just takes over?
Something does. She has some kind of a shift that she goes through sometimes. Relinquish your pain unto me, she says.
Yeah, and the first time she said, if I feel pain, will I be complete?
Will feeling pain make me complete?
Right. Yeah, sorry, I butchered the quote, but still, like, that's...
Same thing.
Yeah. Produced by Namco.
Yeah. So that's episode 1. I am going to go ahead, to be continued. I'm going to go ahead and save clear data. If and when you beat this game, save your clear data onto a separate slot. I'm going to go ahead and save it on slot 2 here. This clear data is for you to import into episode 2. So save that, and you will get rewards for whatever you get in episode 1 and episode 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was episode 1. We have gotten pretty much everything with the exception of maybe some Xenocard decks, like expansions and stuff. That's something, feel free to play that if you would like to. We didn't really mess around with the eggs simulator minigame either. But other than that, that's pretty much everything this game has to offer. It's relatively small for like a turn-based JRPG of the time, but it's a decently long, decently chunky game. But it certainly functions as a prologue for what's to come. I certainly do feel like episode 2 is a much more complete entry, and then episode 3 is too much for one game, in my opinion. But yeah.
Ambitious.
Yeah, very ambitious. This whole series was ambitious. It was planned as a 6-episode series, and we got 3, but we did end up completing the whole arc I believe they set out to do. At least that is my understanding. But yeah, I certainly would definitely like to be playing episode 2 for all of you. We are going to be taking a break from Xenosaga. After this one, we're going to be moving to a different game. I believe Legend of Dragoon is the winner.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're going to circle back to the series. I definitely want to hit episode 2 and 3. I think that would be really good. Any thoughts on this game, Austin?
Oh, so many.
Yep.
So you said that it intended to be a 6-part. Is it budget constraints that turned it into a 3-parter? Like it just wasn't doing well, or what?
Episode 1 did pretty well. Episode 2 had some issues. It was widely criticized. Personally, I like episode 2 a lot, but I do see the criticisms of it both mechanically and just plot wise. It's definitely, it goes a different direction in a lot of ways while attempting to continue the story that was started here. But behind the scenes, a different team took over for episode 2. And though they had notes about, from Takahashi about the way the script was going to go or supposed to go and some of the things to integrate, they kind of went their own direction with it while keeping some of the broad strokes. So it's certainly not like, okay, and now we're going to just like do this and it has no relation at all to episode 1. It's nothing like that, but they just kind of started adding other elements. And then episode 3 in a lot of ways was a return to the elements introduced in episode 1, but you have to deal with some of 2. So in a lot of ways, like this is a, in retrospect, comparison, but it's sort of like the Star Wars sequel trilogy, where you have episode 7 where a thing begun, and then the second entry, they kind of went a different direction, and then the third entry tried to harken back to the first one.
Right.
So yeah, it's very interesting, but yeah, basically developer wise, budgeting, like the series, the Xenosaga series did not do overly well financially and with regards to sales. Xenoblade Chronicles has done a lot better. It is a lot more popular and powerful, I guess. And people love it, and it has sold very well. So, and I think with Xenoblade Chronicles, they went a different direction. This Xenosaga is still based on the Perfect Works material, same as Xenogears, but it's legally distinct, of course, because it's a whole different take on the Perfect Works universe.
Of course.
And then Xenoblade Chronicles, I believe they brought in some things, but they intended for a fresh start, and they succeeded.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Third time's a charm.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in my mind, Xenogears was incredibly successful, but it's successful as a cult classic, not in the same way, say, Final Fantasy VII was, where there are still people that call it the best game ever made, and it was just wildly popular, sold like crazy, has a full remake series, has a full universe built around, all of that. Yeah, we're not dealing with the same thing here, but yeah, that's generally what happened. And again, like, there are some things I genuinely really, really, really enjoy about episode 2. It certainly retains the texture of the universe, which is something I greatly enjoy. I like this was at a time when there weren't a lot of sci-fi RPGs that played like this one.
Right.
It's very, very cool, in my opinion, even if there were so many issues that came up.
Yeah. It's hard because there's a lot that is introduced in this game that you kind of forget about because it's just front-loading a ton of exposition.
Yep.
Now, granted, they do it in an okay pacing fashion, in the sense that, like, they introduce something and then you do something for a little bit and it's kind of relevant, and then they introduce something new, and, but by the time we got to the end, I had completely forgotten that Gnosis could merge with machines. And that was like a big thing that happened at the beginning of the game.
Right.
But it had been shoved so far out of my mind by UTIC and by the subcommittee and by Cherenkov and by whoever Chaos is and by Nephilim. And, it all builds up so fast. And I really kind of wish that we could have had a more condensed, intimate story rather than this broad, huge, universe-affecting thing.
Yeah, this is a very ambitious series. It's certainly a very ambitious beginning to a series, just speaking about episode 1 specifically.
Right.
It's one of the problems with the pacing, in my opinion, is that, you start on Woglenda and you're just like, okay, yeah, there's all of this stuff. There's the Federation, there's Vector. We're starting to get to know all of this stuff. Maybe we're going to stick with this group. Oops. Hey, here's the subcommittee. Here's Ziggy and Momo. Okay, maybe this is a thing. Maybe it'll merge. It's not too far removed. Oops, there's Junior. He's doing stuff. And then they merge together and then all this other stuff happens.
Right. This is Kukai Foundation. The end of the story felt like Junior was the main protagonist by the end of it.
Yeah, and arguably, Junior is much closer to being a protagonist in episode 2 than Xion is.
That's crazy.
Yep. So there are, roughly the same playable characters in episode 2. My preferred party doesn't even include Xion in episode 2. Now, she is useful in some respects, but I usually don't use her in episode 2. So
that's just, it's so crazy to me because, like, again, I don't have problems with Junior being like the protagonist, but they set it up for it to be Kos-mos Xion.
Yes.
And then somewhere along the line, it became Junior, Albedo, Guinan. This is the trio that you've got to pay attention to. Chaos and Ziggy are just sexy leg lamps in the background.
Yeah.
With their occasional one-liners to be like, hey, I'm here. And Xion and Kos-mos are just kind of... And Kos-mos has the same problem. She's got like 2 lines, but she's being pulled along this storyline that we just happen to be a part of because she has a mission to get to Milsha. So at least like her motivations are understandable, and Xion's motivations make sense in the sense that she is pursuing Kos-mos because she refuses to leave Kos-mos alone because that's her baby. So like there are explanations for all these characters, but there's still a whole lot of just ambiguousness to it.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed the narrative, and with this being part 1 of 3, it's hard to have like an actual like, they could have done this better without the context of the other 2, right?
Yes.
But that being said, if based off our conversations, which admittedly are lacking a lot of spoilers, so I have like no real reference, just so people are aware that like even though we've talked about, oh, it's crazy over here, there's no like explicit spoilers that we've talked about.
Right.
Anyway, so based off our conversations and how I'm seeing the narrative play out here, I am concerned that it is too much, and that makes sense given again how 3 kind of ends up being, like you said, it ends up being too much, right? They're trying to shove it all into one space and it doesn't work. So
yeah, I don't know. So I think that's a rightful concern to have about this series, even based on the first episode. I mean, you have only played episode 1, so you don't really know any content from 2 or 3, right? Yeah. So and being concerned about that in the beginning, I do wonder. I don't actually remember how the sentiment was around episode 1 when it came out, but it came out, and then it's just like, what's going to happen in episode 2? There is so much for them to wrap up and deal with and handle and stuff. But yeah, so I mean, some of it is just, the way I've talked about it. And, I do happen to know there are a lot of people who greatly enjoy this series, and I do count myself as one of them. It is a mess. It is broken in some ways. But it's not only is it very fun to play, and, I will give caveats to how it plays mechanically, particularly in episode 2, and honestly in episode 3. People hold episode 3 up as the peak mechanical system for like battles and things like that. I honestly think episode 3 was a bit of a step back in some ways, and when we get to that, I will explain why I say that. But like in my opinion, I would merge the varying systems of all 3 games together, given like battle systems and just the way you handle the field and stuff like that, skills, leveling up. A lot of things in this game are really, really cool, in my opinion. I don't like the egg system, for example. I really do not. Like, it is good. It is complex. It is, it's got some cool stuff in it. It's got like weapons, and you can buy eggs units. That's some cool stuff. But it ends up being so opaque with like which freaking mech can equip which weapon. It's not anywhere. You can't read it anywhere that I've seen.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't even know what's going on. I'm just going to throw miniguns on this thing and use W-Act over and over. There's no complexity to it, even though it is a mind-blowingly complex thing to, like, equip them. Like, it's just...
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's one of those situations. And there are 6 eggs units, and only 4 characters can equip them, so 2 of them will remain unequipped. And if you never buy them, you have 3 eggs units and 4 people that can use them. So it's a weirdly uneven system, in my opinion. Yeah. But.
And to your point, I also feel like the eggs units were kind of thrown in as we wanted robots, but we didn't know what to do with them, right?
Yeah.
Like it was kind of an afterthought.
Yeah.
Like, here's the story, we got this going on, and oh right, Xenogears had robots. We should have robots in Xenosaga. Like, which is fine. You can have the eggs units. I have no qualms with the machines. But it would be nice to see them be more cohesively incorporated, because like in Xenogears is one of the machines you get. Like, it's a big thing. It's a big moment. And it's incorporated, and you have to deal with Groff and his gear unit, and you have to deal with like all these other people, and like there's an equal usage of gears and people and interacting and going back and forth, and so they play a more prominent role.
Yeah, and
here it's like,
obviously,
well, we have money, so we have some machines that can shoot guns.
Obviously, spoilers for Xenogears. Well, maybe we'll put a thing up on the screen saying, "Hey, there's some spoilers for Xenogears." But yeah.
Oh yeah, fair. Sorry, I didn't think.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, it just. Yeah, we'll just notify, I think, because it's just like, you haven't played Xenogears, but yeah. So, yeah, I mean, they do feel like an afterthought, to your point. I agree with that. I mean, they're fine. They sort of work. A W-Act is nice in some fights. We've seen it. But the first time I played through this game, 1, I didn't power level. 2, I didn't stat sync. And 3, I never used eggs units. I just didn't use. I never re-equipped them. I never bought eggs. I just didn't care. I was like, I don't care about these.
Right.
Like, I'm just gonna hit everything with my characters. It's fine. I'll just handle it without these stupid robots that I don't care about. And then, playing now, like, you can see how much damage they can actually do, but they're kind of a hassle to get into. You always have to kind of wait a turn and then do W-act. It's sort of annoying.
Yeah.
There are some mechanics I didn't even use in this playthrough. Like, you can use 2 of the same item, like, say, a medkit S. If you have 6 AP, you can heal your whole party with 2 medkit S's. Never really had the need to do that, but you can basically kind of W-item your party a little bit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's not even explained at any point in the game, is it?
I think probably if it's anywhere, it's here in like the UMN.
Like in the UMN? Okay.
Tutorial stuff, like the database.
Yeah, there's a lot. Okay, so I like the idea of the database, right?
Yeah.
And I like that you can have lore and stuff. But there are definitely, like... I know it sounds like I'm beating on this game. I'm not. This is a good game. This menu, watching you go through it, makes me want to pull my hair.
Yeah.
Like, every time you try to do something, there are 4 sub-menus to do it.
Yep.
Like, arranging the icons does not arrange the party.
No.
For whatever reason.
Yeah, battle formation doesn't work properly. It's like, these can be in a different order than they are on the screen if you don't do it right.
Right, and then you have the way extracting works, like the spending of points, the tech and stuff. Like, again, separation of points is fine, but you shouldn't have 4 separate menus for spending those points.
Right.
Or at least not requiring you to back all the way back out. Right? Like, give me the right bumper, left bumper, switching to these. Oh, let me spend tech points. Let me spend...
Exactly. Like, you go into the ether menu to spend ether points. I have a ridiculous amount of ether points because they start being useless way before any other points do. Tech points especially. And then skill points, I haven't quite gotten to the point where I've exhausted them on like my big 3. But still, you can see how like a little bit more grinding and I can extract absolutely every skill on everyone. And then the only useful points are going to be tech points. And that's because these tech attacks can be upgraded to level 50. And I've got X-Buster at level 9 here. So if you want to upgrade every tech attack to level 50 and maintain stats sync, you got to go into characters, use your tab. Like, it's just, the menus are a complete mess in this game.
Just watching you do that, you had to go through 4 different menu items to go inside, to go to the character, to do the thing you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like, it was...
Yeah.
And that's not even including the eggs, the battle formation, the UMN, the game options, the items, which the item menu is the one that makes the most sense to me.
Yeah.
Because you can actually siphon by category.
Items are fine. Yeah, this one's totally fine. Yeah, and they do improve this in later titles. I actually think episode 2 vastly improves on the way skills work and all of the stuff that you can do. It has other issues with the way things have changed. I do sort of wish they had kept some of what this game was doing in episode 2, even though I really like some of the things they did. But yeah, I mean, it's such a mixed bag. But yeah, I mean, this menu really was badly needing another pass through like QA or something to like, okay, do we really have to open 4 different items to like manage your characters, you know?
And honestly, given the era that this came out, it's still not the worst thing ever. It's just, it could be better, right? Yeah. I'm not asking for like modern menu. That quality of life is unreasonable for a 2000 game.
I mean, look at
there are other games that are current with this one that did their menu way better.
Look at the Xenogears menu. The Xenogears menu is a model of simplicity. Now the battle system's a lot more simple in Xenogears as well. So, you know, but it's still like tech points can be spent in 2 separate menus. Like, come on, guys.
Well, and then to equip and unequip something so that you can extract them was also kind of a bit of a
Yeah.
Like,
if I wanted to go through, if I just finished grinding and I had like 3,000 skill points on everyone, I gotta go through and unequip all of these things to extract the skills.
Right.
It's just the cult.
Just to extract them, even if you wanted to keep them on that character.
Right. Yeah, and then re-equip them, and then I have to go through. There was a point where I was messing with things to get this set up just right, how I wanted it, where I just started like taking pictures of what was equipped in the skills so that I didn't forget in the couple of seconds I had to go through like other menus to get back over here.
Oh, man.
And equip. I was just like, this is absolutely insane. I should be able to see all of this on one screen, you know? And again, this is coming from someone who likes this game. I really enjoy this game. This is a good game.
Yeah.
Good God, fix the menus, you know? Like,
yeah. So it certainly has its struggles.
Yeah.
Right. It's by far not a perfect game.
Yeah.
But I do really enjoy the narrative that's being built here.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of leaning back into it feels like a little too much, like the potential for too much.
Yeah.
Building up. I could see why 6 games would have worked really well for this plan, right? Because that gives them more time to actually like lean into some of these questions that are being built.
Yeah.
Whereas with 3, you don't have that space and money and budget and all that stuff being a thing too. So there's a part of me that it kind of feels like they would have been better to not to play it safe, right? Because I'm fine with ambition, and I think there's respect to be had for somebody who is trying to be ambitious. But you can be ambitious and still smart about how you tell the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think there are elements of this story that I would have liked to have seen refined a little bit more to make it more cohesive.
Right.
So that when they went into 2, even with somebody else telling the story, that cohesion is a good foundation to create the next thing.
Sure. Yeah.
I think it's lacking a little bit of that glue that holds it together.
I think what you're describing is the change in approach they took with Xenoblade Chronicles. Because, and I say this as somebody who hasn't played Xenoblade Chronicles, or at least not beaten it. I've played it a little bit. But I do know they started from a place of like, this is the way this world works. Let's focus on this for a while. And then they started building the series from there. And it is like they Monolith Soft and Takahashi clearly like complexity in their worlds and their stories, and they build it. But I think there is so much front-loaded. Like, we have front-loaded the UTIC organization, the Galaxy Federation, the Kukai Foundation, the Second Miltian government, the Contact Subcommittee, and there are several other organizations I can mention that haven't even been mentioned in this game, because we're still going to be introducing organizations as we go forward in this series.
Well, right. Like, there was a whole email sector where, like, Hyams was introduced. Of course, we have Vector that we're dealing with. We have, there was another one that was, like, when we were talking about investing, and that was like, hey, this is an important one, too. You just don't know it yet, kind of thing. And it's like, I don't need that much.
Yeah.
That's too much. You're fire hosing me down with all this information.
And just to play a little bit of devil's advocate to that point, I do greatly enjoy that this is a very rich world. There is so much going on. There is like, oh my God, like, and really it's one of the things that I have come to appreciate in Approach. It does make games opaque and weird and hard to follow and stuff, but and not just games, like movies, TV shows, but like, you have these characters. No one is a fish out of water character. Nobody is like, what the hell is the Galaxy Federation? You know, like, nobody is saying that, because everybody knows what it is, because they all live in this world. That makes a lot of sense that they would be that way, but it's also like, wait a minute, I need things explained to me. We'll go read the database, and the episode 3 database dwarfs this one by far. But there are a lot of reasons for that. There were spin-off games. This was sort of the, like, we're going to make a whole series of games, a whole universe of games before, you know, something like Kingdom Hearts or the Final Fantasy VII compilation, things like that.
Right.
So there was a little bit of that. There was Pied Piper. There was a DS re-release of Xenosaga episode 1 and 2 in one game. That I think, I don't think that one was translated, but basically you could play both episode 1 and 2 in one game.
Okay.
Which, to my mind, makes a lot of sense. And there was also a lot of cut content from episode 2 that was put into the DS version, I think. So yeah, pretty intriguing stuff, really. I mean, we'll get to some of that when we get to episode 2 for sure, because we won't be playing that. We'll be playing the regular episode 2 PS2 version. For what it's worth, that is what we will be playing.
Yeah. I think a good example of a sci-fi kind of RPG that has a very robust world, like you're pointing out, and it even has like the database kind of stuff, but
I know where you're going.
It explains it.
Yep.
It explains it well, even in spite of all of that, like without being like, what is the Federation? What is this? Like there's a lot of context clues that are easy to pick up on, I think.
Yep.
And it's the Mass Effect series.
Mass Effect, yep.
And obviously it's a different game. It was made later. It learned from its predecessors.
Yeah.
Full disclosure or understanding of that.
Yep.
But that one does a good job creating that, like, nobody's dumb about what's happening in the world.
Right.
And there's occasional where it's like, well, I don't know what's going on with this specific planet. Well, this creature did something. Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yep.
But in general, everybody knows what these alien races are and what they look like and what their general personality types are going to be without fully being like exposition chair to the player.
Sure.
But also not being so confusing that you have to use the database to understand what's going on. It does help though, because there's certain alien races that you encounter, you're like, I wonder why they're like that,
Yeah.
And you go look at their like entry and you're like, oh, well, that's a cool little tidbit, So I like databases. I don't like it when they're required to understand what's happening. So
yeah.
And I say that being a big Metroid Prime fan because the entire narrative is database entries.
Sure.
Like if you never scanned the journal entries and read them, you would have no idea what's going on. Aside from like, oh, space pirates are attacking. Like what else is new?
That's the story, right? Just space pirates?
Yeah, I mean you're a bounty hunter. Yeah, space pirates, Metroids, whatever. So, but again, that gameplay's different, so it almost feels different to do that.
Sure.
So I don't know. It's hard to fine line.
Yeah, I mean it definitely is, and Mass Effect certainly. I would say, man, look, I haven't done anything with Chaos's Ether. That's hilarious. You can tell which characters I focused on here.
Who's Chaos?
Who is that guy? Yeah. But yeah, Mass Effect certainly is a very cohesive game. It's really, really cool. So yeah, full respect to that. Very good sci-fi RPG.
And it has its own problems too. Like
Oh yeah.
The third entry, which is I really like Mass Effect 3, but it has its problems. Faux show.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt about that. Yeah, I mean, you also mentioned there was a who's the protagonist issue in this game. I mean, it's an ensemble cast and sometimes, but like we're dealing with Albedo near the end, and obviously Rubido is going to be the one who is interacting with him the most. But multiple times, people look at Shion and Kos-mos and are like, "I understand things," and it's like, "What the hell is that about? Like, what are they doing? Like, why are they important? What's going on?"
Right.
And there are a lot of dialogue choices in this game where they just use pronouns a little too much.
Yeah, I think what happened is they were trying to capture some of what they did in Xenogears, because there's a lot of pronoun usage in Xenogears too.
That's true.
But it came with a lot of extrapolation. So you could at least get in the ballpark of who they might be talking about with just enough red herring information to be wrong.
Yeah, and there were a lot of front-loaded terms, like people were called lambs early on in Xenogears, and you're just like, the hell is a lamb? Why are these people being called lambs? Well, you'll find out, but you find out kind of gradually. Things start accumulating, and then the other thing about Xenogears is you do have a fish out of water main character in a little bit. Like it's not like he's completely alien to this world, but there is hero's amnesia involved.
Yeah,
it also
adheres. Does help.
Yeah, it also adheres to the hero's journey a little bit archetype, whereas this game really doesn't do that.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's I said it multiple times already. I do think it's a good game. I do think the narrative is good, and that there's even more potential for it, right? Like, I know the series is over, and there's a part of me that kind of wishes like we could try again, you know? Maybe as like an anime series or something smaller, more condensed.
Funny
know?
You should say that. There is an anime called Xenosaga the Animation that covers episode 1 only. It's pretty good. I watched it. It doesn't have quite the same magic the game does, in my opinion, but it's pretty good.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just think if they had more space, they could pace it better.
Yeah.
And I think pacing is a big thing that often gets overlooked, but it becomes like the crux of why some stories are enjoyed and some aren't.
Yeah.
So
it's hugely important, that's for sure. Yeah. But just to kind of circle back a little bit, there are so many cool concepts in this game. I do want to point out, like, some of the things that live rent-free in my head are weird, crazy concepts, like, what is the Zohar doing? Why are there emulators? What is all of that? You know, the Hilbert effect, the Rhine Maiden and the Damarung. How can they just dissolve Gnosis with sound waves? That's cool as hell. Why can Kos-mos like load something into her pistol and have a gun that is like 10 times the size she is and blast through like dimensional barrier? Oh my god, you know, like there's so much that is really cool in this game.
Sure. Why are the Gnosis composed of just salt?
Yeah, they're composed of salt.
What even are the Gnosis? Why do humans turn into Gnosis? Like, just the Gnosis questions.
Yeah.
And then you have the URTVs and Realians and what Cherenkov was part of, like a cloning thing, the Life Preservation Act or whatever.
Life Recycling variant.
Recycling
Act. I think it is called Life Preservation at some point, yeah.
Well, so Ziggy might be the Life Preservation, which is why he's a cyborg or whatever.
I think that's right, actually, yeah.
So there's other laws, you know, past laws that we have to kind of account for people's existence as well. And so, like, to your point, yes, there's a ton of cool stuff.
Yep.
Very good. Very sci-fi. I love it. Mwah, chef's kiss.
Yep. Yeah.
Where did this planet go? Why did it disappear?
Planets are
what
disappearing.
Do you mean it's just
like,
kind
why?
of like in a
Where'd it go?
It's not actually out of space. It's out of time. It's when is it? I'm sorry, what?
Maybe. Yeah, you know, yeah. There's quite a lot of really cool, like, mind-bending stuff. And one thing about me, I really enjoy stuff where if it's like, okay, my brain hurts, like, what's happening? Like, I'm having a great time if that's what's going on, you know?
Why is there a void in space that's multi-million light years across?
Yeah, it's massive. Like, and it took them so long to get to that, but it's a really good point because it's just like, wait, why can't they just go to Miltia? Okay, I mean, it takes a while to get there at sublight speeds, and maybe the gate is sealed off. But if we unseal it, like if we go through the column and we can actually jump there, what is the problem with that? Why can't we just like decrypt it or something? Oh no, actually, there's a big problem there. Like, and there was a dialogue about pulling Proto Merkabah out of the abyss. What the hell is the abyss? You know?
Right.
There's
the Phantom Zone.
Yeah, the Phantom. Yeah, like, oh my God, what is going on with all of that? You know, it was Proto Merkabah in that abyss that maybe we were looking at in that map. You know, like, was it in that several like thousands of light years zone? That, you know, Lost Jerusalem is in there somewhere. You know, where do we even go? Well, it's far too massive to traverse properly.
Sure. What even is Lost Jerusalem?
Yeah, and
you know,
and I mean, Lost Jerusalem. Well, just to be clear, from the beginning cutscene, Lost Jerusalem's Earth.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm assuming it is.
Yes.
Right, but I don't know that did they explicitly state it as Lost Jerusalem?
No, everybody refers to it as Lost Jerusalem. Let me see if the database has that actually. Speaking of the database.
Right.
Oh yeah, I can just. Yeah. I do like that search. That's nice. Yeah, here we go.
Hey, Lost Jerusalem.
Yeah, here you go.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
Not even its actual location is known.
Yeah, so something happened with the Zohar that created a multi-million light year gap in the known universe.
Yup.
Thanks, Zohar, with whatever it is you're going on.
Book of Splendor. Yeah. This
the Kabbalah. Kabbalah.
The Kabbalah, yeah. This whole all of this is really, really cool. This database. And SOC, yeah, UTIC.
Why was Chaos called boss? Why did we completely ignore all of that? Why is Virgil still alive?
Chaos! Yeah, he never, ever, ever, ever volunteers information about himself.
Yeah.
Chaos.
I don't know.
It's quite mysterious.
I am convinced that Chaos is not his actual name. But that's to be determined. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
He's either the embodiment of Chaos, thus does not have like an actual name or whatever,
right,
or he is somebody else important.
Sure.
That we have not either learned about or we have learned about, but that information hasn't been given out yet because we don't have a reason to know that.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yep. Yeah, but I mean, it is interesting. For all of its problems, I greatly enjoy this game. I really do hope you, the viewers, have enjoyed our playthrough of this as well. You know, like it's interesting. It's easy to kind of go through and just like kind of coast through and stuff like that. But I wanted to make sure that we covered at least some of the lore. You know, and whenever we circle back to the series, we get into episode 2. We're going to take some time and go through the lore of episode 1. When we last left our heroes a little bit, there is some of that in the intro of episode 2 where it's like, okay, here's what happened before, and let's get into what's going on now.
Right.
But yeah, this is a good game. I enjoy this game. It has so many issues, and we're going to see kind of where those take us when we come back to this series. But if you do like it, feel free to leave a comment. You know, if you've gotten this far, thank you. I mean, I know we beat the final boss of this game like half an hour ago, but yeah, I really appreciate it. And if you enjoy the discussion of that, you know, we do have some retrospectives coming down the line as well of some of the games we've played before. So we do hope you enjoy kind of lore discussions, plot discussions, and things like that. And yeah, if you like this series, if this is your first time going through it and you want to see more of it, yeah, definitely stay tuned in. Leave us some comments. We will probably, I think because we have this started, we are probably going to circle back to it before too long here. But you know, either way, if you want to see it sooner rather than later, make some noise. We want to hear from you. If you're just like, tired of this, go to something else for a while, we hear you. That is fine as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Personally speaking, you know, I've played episode 1. I'm just like, ooh, I'm kind of itching to play episode 2. But yeah, we'll definitely get to it. And we do hear you on the next game in the series. So we hope you'll join us next week or next episode next time for Legend of Dragoon, because we're going to be getting into that with some updates to it, and I think we'll go over what we're gonna do with that when we actually get into those videos. But basically, we're gonna do some quality of life things with it, so it should be very enjoyable to watch. Great story. That game has a great story, so definitely stay tuned for that one.
Yep, absolutely. And just to kind of echo Dan, thank you so much for joining us today and in the previous episodes. And if you liked all of this and you haven't seen Xenogears yet, go check it out. It will help pad your understanding of this world. I know we've talked about it multiple times already, but like, while they're not directly connected, they do influence, or it does draw influence from Xenogears. Especially because it's the same director and it's based off the same works. Other than that, thank you so much for letting us be a part of your day, and we do hope it is an incredible one. And we will see you all on the next game.
See you next time.
Bye-bye now.
Diddly diddly do 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 do. Thanks for watching.